Hi, I'm Mel,
And I'm Janelle.
and this is the Murder Mamas.
Hello.
Hello. So, it's like,
Harmonized.
yes, that's the word I was looking for. We're going to be talking about Evil Lives Here, Season 3, Episode 11, Put on a Happy Face.
Okay.
Yes. And the reason why we made it to Season 3, Episode 11, all the way down, is because half the people, I couldn't pronounce their names. So I was like, nope, nope, nope.
I was wondering I'm like, okay. We really skipped a few here, but okay.
And then there were some like the prophet, and I didn't want to have to do that. Like, we've done that. So, like, let's do a couple others before we come back to that one again.
Yeah.
You know, so that, like, and some of them just didn't seem interesting at all.
Well, I think some we've already done.
Yeah.
Too, so
It would just be the same as a different episode. So,
okay.
yeah. So here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah. And you start off by meeting Melissa Moore. And how did they put it together? She was learning about the truth of her father.
Yeah, so she was 15 when she first learned the truth about her father, Keith Jesperson.
Yeah.
And then she talks about how she had like these recurring nightmares.
Yeah.
About that she was alive, but laying in a body bag being zipped up by her dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's terrible.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Then we jump to 1995. And her parents were amazing. Like, they had a really good, like, she felt safe all the time. And the dad was a truck driver, and she described him as being good looking and charming and playful. So you see all these videos of when, like, she's like 2 and he's swinging her and holding her and everything. So it looks like a normal family, and she looks very comfortable in her dad's arms.
Yeah.
Which is what you would hope for. I mean, yeah.
And then she says that Keith, her dad, would roughhouse with his kids. So she had 2 siblings. Mm-hmm. And there were times, though, that he would take it too far. Yeah. So he would, like, she gives an example of how he would be, like, roughhousing, and she would jump on his back, and then he would, like, pin her down and hold her hands, like, above her head and, like, push her hands down. Yeah. And then tickle her. Yeah. And she would be like, stop, stop, stop. Like, I don't like that. Quit, quit, quit. And he just would keep going. Yeah. And she describes it as he was like almost in this like trance. Yeah. Where he could not stop. Right. Or listen or care.
Yeah. Have you ever been pinned down and tickled by your family members or anything? I have. And it's the most horrible experience ever. Because at first it's funny and tickles, but then you want to stop right away. You're like, I'm done. And then it just keeps going, and it's like horror.
I don't recall that happening. I mean, I'm sure it did. Like, I had older brothers. Yeah. They were terrible sometimes. But I don't recall tickling specifically, but like my dad used to poke me in the ribs. And he has like really strong fingers. Like, they don't bend. I call them rebar fingers because they're like they just don't bend. So it would hurt because he would like jab my ribs. Oh, God. And that really irritated me a lot. But he would stop when I said stop. Yeah. But like Chris will sometimes like poke, and I'm like, don't fucking touch me. So no, like, short answer is I don't recall a specific incident of having someone just completely like overstep my boundaries. Yeah. Not listen. Yeah. Then Melissa says that she learned early on to not show fear in front of her dad. Yeah. And that he would use those fears against her.
Yeah. And I'm assuming her brothers and sisters too, or was it just her? I mean, she didn't talk about what he did.
She talks about her siblings some, but like she doesn't talk about like the ways that he would do these things to them. Yeah. Which I think is intentional on her part, probably to like not speak for them. Mm-hmm. You know, like maybe they asked for her to like respect their privacy or something. Yeah, that's cute. Yeah. But then it says that Keith would take her hiking and like on these walks out in nature, and he loved being out in nature, and he loved doing all of that stuff. And one time they were up on this ridge, crossing a bridge, which overlooked like a ravine of some kind.
Yeah.
And
well, she said before that, like, there were 4 different hiking trails that her dad liked to take.
Yeah.
And he specifically took her to this one.
Yes.
Which is, he knows her fears.
Yeah.
And so he was like, yes, this is the one we're going to go on.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Very controlling.
Yes.
And like manipulative.
Yes.
But so this one specific time, he lifts her over the side of the bridge and is dangling her. And she was extremely afraid because she's, 1, afraid of heights. Yeah. And 2, that's scary. Yeah. Like no matter what, you know.
You have no control.
So then he pulls her back over, and she like bolts to the other side. And she said any other time they went on that trail, she would just like run across the bridge so he couldn't get her and do that again.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
That is weird. That's not normal.
No.
That brings me back to Michael Jackson when he held his son with a blanket over his head. And he was like dangling him over the rail, and everyone's like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I love how all of these are like the same. Like when they go up on things. Melissa soon started to see him a more disturbing side of his personality. Yeah. So she was looking through older pictures because she said she's kind of like erased most of her childhood. Like she can't remember a lot of things that have happened just because her brain is like, nope, not going to remember that.
Yeah.
But she remembers when she had a cat and her dad came home and she was petting him and he like threw them on the ground.
So that's she said that her dad only liked dogs.
Yeah.
And did not like cats, and so would not allow them to have cats. But they always had these animals that would show up on their property, like these ferals or like barn cats, strays. And so one day she finds these kittens, like a group of kittens, and she's holding them, and her dad returned home because he's a long haul trucker, by the way. I don't think we mentioned that.
Yeah.
So he's gone for extended periods of time, and then he's back.
No.
So he gets home and she's holding these kittens, and he's like, oh, I want to play with them. And he like is dangling the cat upside down by the tail.
Yeah.
And she gets up and she like runs inside to go find her mom. And she's like, no, like he's gonna hurt this cat. And it took her a little while to find her mom.
Yeah.
And then they go back outside, and all the kittens, there were several.
Yeah.
Sorry. They were like smashed into the ground.
Yeah.
And he just like walked away. Like he did not do that or do anything.
Yeah.
Like the way I would divorce my husband and beg for him to be sent to jail.
Yeah.
If he did that.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
He would never do that. No. And then Melissa says that she still can't pet cats.
Yeah.
To this day because she remembers that and gets so sad.
Yeah.
And like feels
I could
bad.
see that happening.
And she says she wishes she could just forget some of these memories.
Yeah.
And then it says Melissa's dad's behavior seems to be changing more with him spending more time on the road.
Yeah.
And then we talk about the babysitter.
Yeah, the babysitter. So Melissa had a babysitter that she really liked. She would say most babysitters would turn on the TV and turn on the phone and ignore them, but she actually played with them. So Melissa really liked her. And then the dad was like, okay, time for you to go home. And he took her home. And she told her mom that he was making advances towards her.
She said she calls before he even gets back home.
Yeah.
And she's like, I will never come to your house again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the babysitter's like, I will never come to your house again.
Yeah.
And Keith gets home.
Yeah.
And Melissa's mom is like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And he doesn't, like, tell her.
No.
Yeah, I guess she, like, walks into the room and, like, he just slams the door.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And this is where they eventually split up.
Yeah. So in her teenage years, when Melissa visited her father, his behavior grew more and more bizarre. She said that he had changed after the divorce. He seemed distant.
Yeah, like his mind was always kind of just traveling and like wandering.
Yeah. And so he takes his kids to the diner on like his night that he picks them up, and the dad is hitting on the waitress. And he's saying things that are just, I don't remember what he said exactly.
Well, at first he's like flirting.
Flirting, yeah.
And then he's like really explicitly like he's talking about like, I want to do ya.
Yeah, yeah.
In front of the kids. Like, it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And this is all told through Melissa's recollection.
Right. I feel like I would have slapped him. Well, that's her dad. That's not her husband. So, yeah.
She says that the waitress is like really embarrassed for herself, but then is also looking at the kids and is like really embarrassed for them.
Right.
And that but like Keith just seems happy about it.
Yeah.
Like he just seems kind of smug with himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so Melissa mentioned, she's like, maybe he just is missing like the social cues or like there's something happening, but it's just very, very creepy.
Yeah.
The more Melissa saw her dad, the more bizarre he became.
Yeah.
So then they're having this big family reunion in the woods, like her dad's side of the family. Yeah. And Keith picks up his kids, and it's during Christmas. Keith picks up his kids to take them there. And while they're driving out there, there's a lady on the side of the road whose car is like broken down.
Yeah.
So he asks her if she needs any help, and he picks up this lady. And the lady, Melissa says the lady looked in the car, saw the three kids, and like got some comfort out of that because like he's her dad.
He's the dad, yeah.
And so she gets in, she's like, gives the address.
I was like, oh no.
I know. Gives him the address, and so he starts driving there, which also wild. Yeah. Because like, how do you know how to get there?
Right.
There's no GPS.
Yeah. Well, she probably guided him.
I mean, I'm sure, but I was like,
oh, okay.
She gets in the car, and then Keith starts asking questions. So in the reenactment, it's like, what color? Is that your natural hair color? It's sexy. And like, who knows if that's really what he was saying, but that's the perception we get.
Yes.
And so then he's like progressively getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And the lady, Melissa says that the lady is looking in the rear view mirror with like big bug eyes.
Yeah.
Terrified. Like, get me the fuck out of this car.
Yeah.
Immediately regretting her decision to be in there.
Yeah.
And they drop the lady off at her house. And she basically like runs out of the car.
Yeah. But I'm like, he still has your address. That's got to be a little
unnerving. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You're definitely on high alert for a while after that.
Yeah.
When Melissa spent time with Keith on the road, she noticed some strange things. So he would go without contact for days or weeks when he's out driving his semi. And one time he like called her and picked her up and was like, hey, I want to take you guys out to this diner.
Yeah.
What is this guy? This guy in diner. Man.
I know. They're always at a diner.
But that her siblings had plans, so they couldn't come, so only Melissa could.
Yeah.
And they took a sharp turn and something like rolled in the back part of the cab. And she goes and she grabs it, and it's like an almost used up roll of duct tape.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's weird. Why do you have so much duct tape here?
Yeah.
Which is weird. Like, it's not a house. Why do you?
He's a truck driver.
Why do you have so much duct tape?
Duct tape.
What was that for?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's no big deal. And then and then she's looking at a photo from the police.
Yeah. But she's never seen.
She's never seen it. And it's of the cab of her dad's truck.
Yeah.
With a roll of like nearly used up duct tape.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's exactly how I found it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man.
Yep.
One night at her father's house, so her dad gets a house like at the same time.
Yeah.
And Melissa is staying with him, and she just says that the vibe in the house was like really off.
Yeah.
She just didn't feel super comfortable.
Yeah.
She just like doesn't feel comfortable in there, and she's really uneasy. And she hadn't slept under the same roof as him in years at this point.
Yeah.
I think she says.
Yeah.
And so she ends up sleeping in the living room, and she's like laying on the couch and looking up at the ceiling, trying to go to sleep. And she's noticing there's like red stains up there.
Yeah.
And she's thinking, like, what are those got up there?
Yeah.
Is that spaghetti sauce? And like,
how would that go?
Get up there? And then she finally goes to sleep. And in the morning, she tells him, like, hey, like, you got some stuff on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
We'll get it cleaned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Like, girl.
Yeah.
Girl, your spidey senses were tingling.
Yeah.
And you were not listening.
Yeah. One day, Melissa's father revealed something that startled her. He would pick them up, and the dad was standing there singing. Oh, and he was singing, "Swear I left her by the river." And like, she was safe when I left, or something like that. And he was just singing that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And Melissa was like, I don't know if that means something, or if my dad just really likes the song, you know?
Yeah, like she says she's like almost in a trance.
Yeah. And then the song ended and he snapped out of his trance. And then he says he wants to confess something to Melissa, but he wasn't sure if he should, because she might go to the cops.
We're not there yet.
No?
No.
Well,
so then it says Keith confessed something to Melissa that he would that something that Melissa would never forget.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He says, I know.
Yes. How to kill someone and how to get away with it.
And he talks about cutting off the pant buttons so he can get the fingerprints, and changing his shoes so he can step out of the mud.
Yep.
In different tracks.
Yep. And he would not get caught. And I was thinking,
like, okay.
Yeah, she was like, I don't know why you're telling me this. But I was thinking, I could probably do that.
Judy, I'm pretty sure you've told me that before.
Yeah. I could.
Like, several people I know have been like, I think I could get away with a murder. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think I could.
I don't think you could.
Probably not. But
how quickly?
But I know the steps that I would have to take before the murder started. And then I don't know what I would do after. That's the big problem.
I genuinely don't think you could murder someone. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to ruin your street cred. I think you would be really affected.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
unless they were trying to
hurt you.
Yeah.
But that's different. Like, I don't think you could pick someone up and just be like, I'm gonna murk ya.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
That's not.
It's different.
Surprisingly, I don't know that we would be friends if you were the kind of person who would do that. So.
Fine. I won't help you when you call me you need to bury the body.
I will never. Do I, Sean? Do I seem like...
No, you don't.
Unfortunately, no.
No.
Not unfortunately.
Fortunately.
I don't even know that I would be able to hurt someone, like, if someone was trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
I genuinely...
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm a freezer, though. Like,
You freeze. Yeah. I don't.
I don't fight back.
Like, I probably wouldn't fight back now that I'm on my meds. But before meds...
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. I'm like, if I don't move, they can't see me.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
So then Keith gets a steady girlfriend, though, which gives Melissa some hope that he will change for the better.
Yeah. Because she's like confident, on top of her shit.
And Melissa also says that she seems unbothered.
Right.
And like challenges him and isn't easily controlled.
Right.
And so she holds her own, and her name was Julie. Mm-hmm. And Melissa really liked her.
Yeah.
So then the next time she sees her father is the last time.
Yeah.
Before he goes to prison. Yes, going to put a little caveat there.
Yeah.
What is going on with the
I don't know. I think she has separation anxiety from me.
I'm grabbing some Xanax, man.
Shit.
So Melissa's a freshman in high school when she goes to a diner. Again. And this is the last time that she sees him outside of jail.
Yeah.
He seems really grim and serious, which is not always in his nature.
Yeah.
And he says he wants to tell her something, but he can't because Melissa will tell the cops. Like, he keeps just sort of teetering on this, but saying that. And so she gets up and she goes to the bathroom and she's like giving herself a pep talk in the bathroom. She says, like, okay, you can get through this. Like, you can do this. You can manage. And then she goes back to the table and he's like completely dropped it. He's like not talking about it at all anymore. And Melissa then is like, I'm kind of done with him.
Yeah.
She's ignoring his calls. She's like refusing to see him. She also says that it seemed like he was acting like the world was like collapsing around him.
Yeah.
And then on the news, there's a story of a potential serial killer in the area and like kind of throughout the whole U.S.
Yeah.
Talking about all of these different murders, like in Wyoming and
Florida
and Oregon and where else did she say? I think that was it.
Yeah.
Like some other places, and they're looking to see about how these connect.
Yeah.
In March 1995, Melissa realizes how close that serial killer danger really was.
Yeah.
Okay. Melissa's mom calls a family meeting where she tells the kids that Keith was in prison for murder. Okay, because Melissa last saw him in September of 1994.
Yeah.
And so September passes, then the holidays, she doesn't hear from him at all.
Right.
And she's like, that's weird. Like, I haven't heard from him or seen him. Like, he hasn't seen my siblings.
Yeah.
Like, no one in quite a while. So then it's like through the holidays and into the new year. And she's like, okay, this is really strange.
Yeah.
Then her mom calls this family meeting. But her mom doesn't elaborate at all either. She's not like, this is what he did. This is why.
Right.
Just says that he's in prison for murder.
Yeah.
Doesn't say who he murdered.
No.
And so in her mind, she's like, you know, my dad was 6'6".
Yeah.
Did he get in a fight with someone at a bar? Is it accidental? Did he hit someone with a semi? Like, so many options of what it could be.
Yeah.
And she just wanted to know what he had done.
Yeah.
So then this was like the craziest sentence for me to write down. She goes to the library where she pulls newspapers. I'm like, did I hop in a time machine? But really, though, I think that shows too, like, how hard it was to get information.
Yeah.
Just think now.
Yeah.
That would be everywhere.
There's
no escaping it.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
And she found that he was in prison for killing Julie, who at that time was his fiance.
Yeah.
She gets so sad looking at Julie's picture. She really liked Julie.
Yeah, I think she did.
And she describes the last moments Julie had.
Yeah.
Where, this is from the newspaper article, where he's strangling her and she's like begging him to stop. And he's just not stopping. Yeah. And I feel like she was recalling like being tickled. Yeah. Like that same sort of situation. So Keith is the definition of living a double life.
Yeah.
And then Melissa discovers that Julie's not his first victim.
Yep.
And Keith is in prison and he's confessing to more murders. And then Melissa's also finding all of this out from those newspapers. Yeah. Like, her mom, how do you not tell her?
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
I think that's wild too.
Keith is labeled as the happy face killer.
Yeah.
And that's because he would write these letters to the media about the crimes he was committing, like the murders he was committing. And he would always include a happy face at the end.
Yep.
So then we learn about Tanya, and she's the first victim, and her blood was the blood on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And so this discovery makes Melissa question everything.
Yeah.
She's desperate for answers. So she goes to visit him in prison. And this visit's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
For her.
Well, he told her he should change her last name. And that's when she knew he was guilty.
And then he asks her, like, I bet you're wondering why I did this.
Yeah.
And she says she couldn't say, like, yes, tell me. She was too afraid to get that answer. So she doesn't really get any answer.
No.
But Keith confesses to those several more murders, and is given multiple life sentences.
Which is good.
Sure.
But then Keith claims he killed over 163 women. They only know of 8. There could be more.
And 2 of them are unidentified.
2 of them are unidentified, yes.
15 years.
15 years later.
15 years after Keith's arrest and conviction, Melissa had a conversation with her grandfather.
Oh,
and he visited Keith in prison.
Yeah.
Where Keith told him that he had thought of killing Melissa and her sibling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't provide clarity.
No.
Like that?
No. They didn't need to know that.
You never needed to tell her that.
No.
There was no reason for her to have to know that.
No.
But that's the end. And so her dad was a serial killer.
Yeah. And now he's in jail for the rest of his life.
I wonder if he's still alive.
If he's still alive, I don't know.
That was in 1985.
Yeah, he would be alive.
Don't say how old he was.
No, but I mean, I don't know. Okay. Bye.
Bye.